on, guys? My name is Raivis, and today we are in my studio. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I make electric cinematic music. I've had a passion for cinematic music since I was in 4th grade and I started playing the clarinet. Pretty much played it for 10 years. I love listening to films like Batman, Inception, anything that Hans Zimmer has really done. Sherlock Holmes was freaking sick. I love hearing the rich pianos, the cellos, the violins, the atmospheric sounds. And by the way, if any cellists or violin players, have like some cinematic music they just want to send me, like I will take that and I could make something into it. We could have like a collaboration there. That'd be really cool. I've been focusing more on the ambient electric influence of that genre. I love applying it to some parts of my music to create a really cool dynamic feeling with whatever the vocalist is saying. But I mean, you can apply it in a lot of different ways. So I'm going to show you guys how I apply it. Before we get into it, make sure to smash that like button or else the dingo is going to eat your baby. Hit that subscribe button with that notification bell. Alright, Katness. We're going to get meow meow meow. Don't. Katness on the keys. By the way, follow Katness on Instagram at Piano Pause. I'll put the link in the description. Without further ado, let us get into it. Alright, before we get into it, I'm going to show you a quick preview of what it sounds like. So this is what we got. First, we're going to break down this part in the beginning, which actually isn't as complex as you think once we get into it. All it really is 2 bass layers, which is a sub bass and a reese bass. And it has those spaces in there just so that it creates more dynamic. We have the chords. Which are pretty much repeating over and over again. The part that I got a little tricky with is the brass. So a brass instrument that sounds really good usually costs a lot of money. It can be like hundreds of dollars, even to $1,000 for like a really good sounding brass. I don't have the budget to just randomly buy brass sounds that I really like just because I want to make something with brass in it. So what I've done is I've gone into many libraries where it has brass hits. And what I'll do is I'll sample those hits and I'll sequence them in a way that it's playing the melody that I want. So in this case I have this melody. All I did was chop it up and I put a reverb on it, and then I have this brass that's supporting, so it's got an initial transient, so it really stands out as the main element to the melody. And I only have that reinforcing the beginning of every 4 measures. And so with that, I'm also layering it with drums, which is just like an impact sound. It's like a war drum, and I just sequence it. And so when you put the drums, when you put drums and brass together, it just sounds like very cinematic. What also creates the cinematic tension are these stick sounds, which I just sprinkle throughout. So that's actually pretty much it for that main part. So for the drums, this is what we have. I make sure to keep things interesting with these sticks. And I also have this higher layer that's just an omnisphere patch, but I just thought had a really cool percussive sound. It's really subtle, but it's in the background. just to add, you know, some ear candy elements. Then I have this vocal that's happening in the background constantly. Then I have it reversing at the end. Alright, so for my transitions, I usually have it at the end of a phrase where I'll have a sequence of things going on to create tension and release. So for when it gets into the next phrase, it really feels like a new moment. So for the transition, I have like 5 elements layered. Which will be in my sample pack that's coming out. All it is this laser. It's this swoop. And I use a frequency shifter for this. So without it, it sounds like this. So with it, just makes it sound a little bit more cinematic to me. Then I have these drums, which I feel like are very big cinematic ones. And at the end I have this. Which is my favorite part right at the end. It really sounds like it's going down a tunnel. So for the next part, it's going to sound kind of complicated, but once I break it down for you, you're going to see how really simple it is. So it's all about the sequence of events. So I have this impact that I layered with a transition crash. What's keeping the flow of this together is this vocal that I have in the background. Which I just have little altar boy, and I have a reverb and a delay that's creating some movement with it. So what's holding down this section is this stringy, airy pluck that I have. So for the bass, I have this auto pan that's creating a slight motion. It's kind of overdrive, some OTT, a flanger, and some RC20 just for some texture. I probably overkilled the bass, but I just wanted to create a really unique vibe. So when you put the bass and the pluck together, it creates these really cool movements. So we have the pluck that's opening up slowly, and the bass that's moving in a kind of vibration kind of way. So I also have the sub bass, which is just to fill in the low frequencies. And then I just have this in the background. What's moving this along is after I have that chord progression that's pretty much looping, I change it up right here at this moment, and I also add this. I also add some atmospheric sounds. Which to me really, it's just kind of they're like little accenting pieces. And I also changed the chord progression at that moment, so that way it really feels like a new moment. It's like you're swimming in this vibe. It's just how it would sound like together. So for this section, I'm pretty much just looping what I did, but I'm adding a piano and some strings to reinforce. And I also have this riser. I have a subtle riser that's happening just to push things forward. And all of that together would sound like this. So I have this percussive element that's slightly happening in the background. I'm trying to think of what else I can show you in this. So if you guys have any questions of anything that I've done here, just put in the comments below and I'll be happy to get to it. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button. I hope you got something out of this. I'm going to be putting some of these sounds that I have in this project in a sample pack for you guys, which I'll be really excited to announce pretty soon. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys next video.